Hello, my love. Oh, shh. There we go. Oh, easy there. I know you're still a little groggy, but that's normal. The tea I made you is pretty strong. It will help you relax while we talk. I thought maybe I could tell you a story while you get comfortable. Oh, so many questions, and they'll be answered. I promise you. But right now, just try to relax. You know, you're going to be confused no matter what I say right now, so why don't you just ease your mind, know that you're safe, and I'll tell you a story. It'll help pass the time. Stories help, don't you think? They help us make sense of things that seem confusing at first. And I do know that waking up here under the stars with me, it must seem very confusing. That's all right. The stars are beautiful, though, aren't they? I've always loved them. I could tell you a story about the stars. Yes, a story about the stars. This one is about the Pleiades. You know that cluster of 7 sisters up in the sky? Well, technically it's 6 now, but we'll get to the part. We'll get to that part. It's actually a really beautiful love story. Kind of tragic, but beautiful. You just rest there and listen, okay? Don't worry about anything else right now. Just listen to my voice and listen to the story. And I promise it'll have a happy ending. Well, sort of. It depends on how you look at it, I guess. Oh, still so many questions. Anything I answer you right now is not going to make sense, so could we just trust? Yes, I suppose that is a bit of a lot to ask from a stranger who is looking over you as you slept in the woods, especially as you probably don't remember how you got here. No, I didn't think so. But all will become clear, right? You can trust that I won't hurt you, right? I mean, if I were going to, I would have by now, wouldn't I? And I seem friendly, don't I? I promise you I'm very friendly. I like you very much. I'd never do anything to hurt you. Right. So, story. There were 7 sisters, born from starlight and ocean foam. They were the daughters of Atlas. You know, the guy holding up the sky. And they were absolutely gorgeous, all of them. And they danced across the heavens together like they were performing. Just for anyone lucky enough to look up. They loved to dance. 6 of them were very content being celestial beings, immortal, radiant, spending eternity in their cosmic dance. But the 7th sister, she was a little different. She'd always been a little different. Drawn to earth. Drawn to watching the mortals below with their short, intense little lives. She would spend hours, days, just observing them. Learning their patterns, their habits, the way they moved through their days. As some people might call it stalking, but really it was just Yeah, love. You know? Just pure fascination. And love. Now that sister, her name was, you know what, actually, let's just call her the Dreamer for now. She would become obsessed with one mortal in particular. A king. He was brilliant and so handsome. Absolutely perfect in every way. She watched him rule his kingdom. Watched him solve impossible problems. She watched him as he walked through his gardens, alone at night. He was so lonely, the king. I mean, surrounded by people, but still so incredibly alone. And she knew, she just knew that she was the one who was meant to fix that. That she was meant to be the one to complete him. One night she couldn't take it anymore. She came down from the stars. She took human form, and she appeared in his garden. It was very romantic. It had very destined to be together energy. and when their eyes met, it was like the universe finally clicking into place. He saw her for what she truly was, just immediately. not human, yeah, but something divine. And someone who belonged to him. He said, "You're not from here," because, he was clever like that. He really was always so clever. They started meeting in secret. She would tell him about the stars, about infinity, about how love is this force that holds everything together. He'd share his thoughts and his dreams and his beautiful, complicated mind with her. She was the first person who really understood him, who saw past the crown and the power. She saw to the man underneath. The man who just wanted to be known, really, really, truly known. I'm sorry, I really get into the stories sometimes. It's like I can just picture it all so clearly, as if it had really happened. As if I'd been there. Anyway, he proposed eventually. Asked her to marry him. Asked her to stay with him forever. And she said yes, obviously. I mean, how could she not? They were meant for each other. They were literally meant for each other. It was absolutely written in the stars. And their wedding was this huge celestial event. Gods attended. Her family gave their blessing, and they even received an incredible gift. A promise that when his mortal life ended, when his soul left the mortal plane, he would be made immortal, transformed and he would join her among the stars forever. They were going to have eternity together. Every night, for the rest of time, dancing across the cosmos, never having to be apart again. It was the promise her father had made her. And it was perfect. Their love was perfect. And for a while, everything was exactly as it should be. He ruled wisely, and she supported him. They had beautiful children together. She made sure that he had everything he needed. She watched over him constantly. She protected him from anyone who might try to hurt him or take him away. But he started getting bold, arrogant. He was so smart, and he knew it, and that made him reckless. He made enemies of the gods with his clever tricks and his schemes and his insights. Nothing annoys a god more than seeing right through them. She kept warning him. She kept trying to make him understand that some games are just too dangerous to play. That he'd won at everything, but he couldn't win at this. She tried to tell him that he needed to be more careful. She needed him to listen to her because she did know better on this case. But did he listen? No. No, because he was right about so many other things that he thought he was right about everything. He thought he could outsmart anyone, even immortal beings, even gods. He thought he didn't need her protection anymore. Mortals can be so stubborn sometimes, can't they? Even when someone loves them enough to watch over them every second of the day, they still think they know better. Well, when the gods finally got tired of his arrogance, their punishment was, creative and also cruel. So incredibly cruel. They could not go against her father's promise that when his soul left the mortal realm, he would ascend to the heavens and live amongst the stars with her. So, instead of letting his soul ascend to the stars, they trapped his soul here on Earth forever. Every time his life ends, he is immediately reborn into a new one. Different body, different circumstances, but always the same beautiful, arrogant soul. Poets got it wrong. They said that he was condemned to push a boulder up a mountain for eternity. That's just a metaphor. It was only ever a metaphor. But it was taken as fact. The mountain that he has to push the boulder up is just one lifetime after another. The real punishment is that he can never escape this realm. He can never join her in the stars, never remember who he really is. He doesn't remember who he belongs to. Do you have any idea what that's like? Watching someone you love more than existence itself live and die over and over again, watching them be born and reborn with no memory of you, no recognition of the bonds you share. And she's been watching that every single life. So many different versions of him, but always just fundamentally him. Always hers, even when he doesn't remember. And in every life she's been there. Invisible, protecting, making sure nothing terrible happens to him. Because even if he can't remember their love, it's still there. The connection is still there. I've been watching in this life too, you know. This version of him. Following his routines, learning his habits, making sure he's safe and healthy and sounds like something you've had a dream of. I suppose that means your tea is worn off enough that you're thinking more clearly. Looking around, noticing that you really aren't quite sure how you got here, and that must be suspicious. It's okay, I know it's confusing. My name is Murabi. I'm the seventh sister. I'm the dreamer. I'm the lost Pleiades. The star that barely shows up in the sky anymore. And that means that you are you're him. You're mine. Sisyphus. You always have been. In every single life. Even when you don't remember. Sometimes it gets a little hard to just watch. And I couldn't. This life was a little harder for you than some of the others, and they're never easy, but this is... I couldn't just observe from a distance while you lived another whole lifetime without knowing who you really are, without knowing who you belong to. I feel the loneliness that comes from you sometimes more than others, and I had to come to tell you that you are not alone. You've never been alone, not in any of these lifetimes, and not in this one. So I brought you here, where we could be together, where I could take care of you properly. I know that this might sound crazy. I know that I might seem like just some delusional person who's convinced herself of an impossible story, and maybe that is all it is. Maybe I'm just a lonely woman who saw you and created this elaborate fantasy because I needed it to be true. But what if it's not? What if every word I've told you is real? What if you really are my eternal love, trapped in an endless cycle, and I'm the only one who remembers what we had? What if I'm the only one who can love you the way you deserve to be loved? Completely. obsessively, forever. For in a way no mortal could otherwise understand forever. You know what? Either way, you're here with me now. You're here with me where you belong. And I promise, I will take such good care of you. Just like I have in every other life before this one. You're starting to fade again. It's okay. You don't have to keep your eyes open. This must be a lot to think about. So go ahead and close your eyes and have sweet dreams, my love. When you wake up, we'll talk some more. We have all the time in the world to figure out what's real. Hey there, cupcakes. I hope you liked that story, and if you did, I hope that you will credit Kyle in the comments in my last video. Kyle Marthaler or Marthaler. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, but say hi to Kyle and say thank you if you like this story, because Kyle's the one who gave me the idea for this. Kyle posted in the comments what was claimed to be a useless trivia, but useless fun fact, but clearly it wasn't. Clearly I made use of it, about the 7 Pleiades, the stars in the sky, that are called the 7 Sisters, and it's been a long time since I realized that I think I'm probably quoting what I know about the 7 Pleiades as opposed to what Kyle actually said. But anyway, it's been a long time since all 7 have been visible, because 2 are very close together and they overlap, and so you don't see one of them really. And there are a lot of myths for why that is, and they were supposed to be nymphs and the daughters of a god, the daughters of Atlas. And one of them, there are a few myths about why you can't see the one. My favorite is that she fell in love with a mortal, and some people say that she turns her face away out of shame for having fallen in love with a mortal or having married a mortal. But I like the one. I obviously like the story where she just, keeps an eye on the mortal, still loves the mortal. The whole reincarnation thing, that was my spin on it, because apparently I'm on a reincarnation kick this week. But it worked for me, and I was pleased with the story. So I hope you are too. Thank you to Kyle. And also, thank you so much to all of my new patrons on Patreon. There's Robin Williams, which is going to be my drag king name one day. Thank you. There's Infamous and Lionheart, CDM98, and Tyrant Slayer. Thank you all so very much. It is exciting to be back in business. Oh my goodness, my thumbnail artist is a miracle worker, and my channel is turning. I'm tentatively optimistic, and so thank you all so very much, and especially to the Baker and Pound Cake tier level patrons who help me out so much. There's Tyrant Slayer and Auntie Susie, Pack 3424, Dean Stur, Charles Tribble, Wheaton, Loot Curator, Gunner's Mage, Mushan, the Wholesome Storyteller, William Gungrave, Barry Wilburn, Esteed, SLE Photo, Harper Evolution, Arc Redemption, Wolf 9004, Malice Silo, Lou, Bunny, Merrill, Mr. Rickles, Darth Mythis, Shred Death 48, Always Able, Old Bean UK, Kahlua Bear, Collect 92, The Swaggy Llama, Art Low, Pierce Tailish, and Christian Cleopa. You guys are everything to me, and I appreciate you all. I hope that you will all be as good to yourselves as you are to me. Keep your eyes posted. I know last time I mentioned that we would be starting a podcast, a Spice Rack podcast, this Saturday at noon Pacific is when we're doing it. I'm not actually sure. I think it's going to be on Twitch. It might be on Kick, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be on. It might be on both. I will link to it. I will link to my Twitch channel. I will link to my Kick channel, whichever it is I'm on, and you will see us. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys take care. Be as good to yourselves as you are to me, and I will talk to you again soon.